can't hug our families or really anything, but at least we have Vlogmas.
Hey folks, welcome back to part 2 of We Still Don't Have a Name for This series. Again, to refresh if you didn't watch the last video, we will be debating topics. We each put in 3 different topics. I don't know what his are, he doesn't know what mine are. We will draw whether or not we're arguing the devil's advocate side or our personal opinion side. Views expressed in this video aren't necessarily our own. Disclaimer. Let's get rearing and gearing.
Alright, this one looks like, oh, this one's mine. It's offensive team names. What are your thoughts on professional college using offensive team names?
Yep. Your opinion. Let's go. Alright, offensive team names. I think we're alluding to what are currently known as... What's the North Dakota team name now?
That's kind of old news. Now they're the Fighting Hawks.
The Fighting Hawks. Okay, the Fighting Hawks. So,
but the new news is the Cleveland Indians are changing their name.
Okay, I don't keep up to date on sports, so I'm just going to go based on my actual opinion. This reminds me of the statues. Historical statues have been in the news recently, especially this past summer with the protests and the civil unrest. People were taking down statues of racist public figures. History is meant to be taught, not to glorify. But unfortunately in America, we have a tendency to glorify it whether or not it should be glorified. Team name, which is plastered all over the stadium, all over merchandise, broadcasted on television, far and wide, okay? You're glorifying that history that doesn't necessarily need to be glorified. Now, there's a difference between erasing history and honoring it. By having offensive names as your team name, that is in sense honoring that individual, whether it's an individual, an institution, it's honoring them and giving them the power that they are worthy of representing this team, which doesn't necessarily represent those harmful and actions and that person or institution represents. If you want to separate yourself from those actions, then you need to rebrand yourself, which is why I fully stand behind changing team names.
The Minnesota Twins, honoring the Twin Cities.
Mm-hmm.
The Pittsburgh Steelers, honoring the hard-working steel workers of our country, in which our country was founded on.
Mm-hmm.
The New England Patriots, honoring us strong patriots in this country.
Tommy Lasagna.
Cleveland Indians, honoring the strong Indians that founded our country. There's no difference.
Pittsburgh Steelers, honoring the steel workers that helped build this country from the ground up, are seen as progressive figures who have provided jobs, provided infrastructure, elevated our country to what it is today. The Native Americans, if they wanted to go by the Cleveland Native Americans, that in itself, I'm not familiar of the history of Cleveland itself. If it was strongly rooted in Native American culture, that's another story. But referring to yourself as the Cleveland Indians isn't politically correct, and quite frankly, it eradicates and erases the mass genocides that Native Americans have suffered in our country's history.
This is the topic, and this was you reaching
as
far as you could to find something to cling on to.
Aw, every major court case ever. Pineapple on pizza.
So I have to
Draw.
be devil's advocate.
Not necessarily.
I get to say my opinion. I want you to ask yourself what these things have in common. Watermelon, peaches, strawberries, grapes. All 4 fruits. All 4 don't belong on pizza. Pineapple is a fruit. It does not belong on pizza, bottom line.
Is that the extent to your argument?
That's my opening statement. I'm willing to open up a dialogue now.
Okay, well, I'll introduce my opening statement here. ham, Canadian bacon, salty. What accompanies saltiness? I hate those birds. Judge Judy would never allow this type of working environment. What accompanies saltiness? Sweetness. You need to offset both. You can't have one without the other. It's like having a double peanut butter sandwich. You just won't do it, okay? And on top of that, you need to complement all those taste buds. It's also an added nutritional benefit. When you're munching down an entire pizza, which I do every Friday night, having a little bit of nutrients, in which comes in the shape of pineapple, helps eradicate some of that guilt and knowing you're giving yourself those natural sugars that your body needs. And so, if we really want to address the obesity epidemic in the United States, don't you think we should stop shaming people on how they get their nutrients? I think so.
Let me ask you one thing. Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a bag of chips?
I have.
Have you ever had pretzels before?
I have.
One thing I've noticed when eating those things is they don't come with fruit. Now, earlier you claimed that you always need to accompany something salty with something sweet. Last time I had a bag of Doritos, I did not have to pick through the apples in order to get to it. I did not have to pick through an orange in that bag. Because something salty does not need to be accompanied with something sweet.
So last night when you took down a full 3-course dinner, what did you eat afterwards?
Let me see.
You had a brownie. You had a brownie after your dinner last night. And why did you have a brownie? Why weren't you thinking, oh, I'm going to go grab a bag of chips, some popcorn? Why didn't you want that after your dinner?
Notice how I didn't put my brownie in my euro. I separated them. The argument is not whether you should ever eat pineapple. The argument is should that pineapple be put on pizza. I did not mix my dessert in with my main course. So your argument is invalid.
It's not a dessert though. It should accompany your meal. People who have fruit for dessert, never trust those types of people. A valid dessert is something that has no health benefits, okay? Pineapple should accompany a meal, not precede the meal.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
Okay.
It should accompany a meal.
Okay.
Separately. Eat your pizza, eat your pineapple. Do not mix them. This flea just came out of your hair, by the way.
I know, I don't wash it frequently.
Okay, I think we need to move on.
Okay, fair enough. And you can draw. This is the last one.
Alright, last topic. Arkansas is the best state.
Alright.
You have a thing against Arkansas, don't
I
you?
really don't like Arkansas.
Jeez, you're gonna lose a big part of your viewers.
We got
I'm sorry
an
for those
incest-bred cat
Okay, well,
from
save it. Save it.
Devil's advocate. Dang it.
Okay.
Take it from here.
Let's see. Arkansas is the best state?
Yep.
Okay. You know what? I'll take on. I'll be pro Arkansas for this one because I'm trying to gain my base. I'm trying to earn some votes for Arkansas. People from Arkansas, go over and subscribe to Mippy 5 documentary dropping December 18th. That's probably going to be
Not
tomorrow.
the time.
Arkansas is the best state in the country, if you don't count Minnesota, because for a couple reasons. Winter's tame.
He's John Blake.
My Aunt Ruthie is from Arkansas.
She died there. Poor health care.
We visited once.
We got an incest-bred cat. Do you want me to just take it from here? Lob it over.
We got a loving kitten that taught us a lot of life lessons.
If you know me, you know my despise for the state of Arkansas. And I don't have this despise with no evidence. I have real life experience in that state. We have family in that state. And let me just tell you point blank, Arkansas needs to secede from the U.S., okay? It's not bringing a lot to the table in terms of, it's not propelling our country forward into what we would like to be seen as, what we would like to embody to other nations. We got an incest bred cat from there. We've had many cats over the years, and that has never been the case from any of the ones that were bred up north. Our aunt died there, okay? She had a very, her health condition was not severe to the point that she should have died. Clearly the healthcare needs to be reevaluated, and some of that taxpayer money should be funneled into there. The politics are just not it. And are we talking any bodies of water there?
There was a swimming hole when I went there as a kid. The Appalachian Mountains are beautiful. There's a swimming hole. If you go to Arkansas, you can swim in it. Also, you're taking a specific example and putting a blanket judgment on the entire state.
I am.
And what if somebody did that to Minnesota? What if somebody met you and they're like, ooh, the rest of Minnesota must be like this.
Yeah.
And then they realize it was a bunch of crappy people in Minnesota. You wouldn't like that, would you?
No. So here's the thing. Here's how I judge a state. It's the contributions to which you're making to the greater good to the United States. You're not just a single entity. You're a part of something much bigger. For Minnesota, we are one of the leaders in healthcare. We are one of the most highly educated states. We are providing agriculture to other countries, okay? We're providing something, and we're doing it something bigger than ourselves. Arkansas, besides producing toddlers and tiaras and having infants in pageants, unfortunately, I don't see as really contributing to the greater good on a wide scale. There's great people in Arkansas, I'm sure. I haven't met any of them, but I just don't see what they represent as what I prefer.
Do you know what I
like
think
to embody.
Contributes to the greater good?
What?
Loving one another.
Like your cousins?
What I believe contributes to the greater good is loving one another, whether it be your cousins or not. I believe in spreading love and not hate. And this vomit that you're spitting all over the great state of Arkansas is just disgusting. It's disgusting. I'll prove to you that Arkansas is good. Okay, Google, why is Arkansas good?
According to Mental Floss, 1. Arkansas prides itself for being the world capital of a variety of things, including quartz, spinach, folk music, and archery bow production.
Oh yeah, it sucks. Oh boy.
Spinach?
Spinach and folk music were their top sells.
I like spinach. Okay. I like spinach. My fellow Arkansasians, is that what they're called?
Arkansas, I think.
Arkansasians, this is nothing personal to you.
I think it's Arkansas holes, actually.
I don't think it is.
Oh.
This is nothing personal to you. Again, I'm sure you're great individuals with big hearts and powerful minds. Unfortunately, your state has a ways to go in terms of, not being the armpit of the U.S.
I hope this gets on Arkansas YouTube and you just get flamed.
Love you, Aunt Ruthie.
Oh.